There's a moment that almost no one talks about. It's not the day you buy a house. It's not the day you get your first six-figure paycheck. It's not even the day you hit $1 million. It's a much quieter moment. It's the moment you open your banking app and instead of feeling anxiety, dread, or the instinct to close it as fast as possible, you feel calm. You're not calculating how many days are left until payday. You're not wondering whether a surprise expense will wreck your month. You're not mentally subtracting bills in your head just to see if you can afford groceries. For the first time, money stops feeling like an emergency. And for most Americans, that moment happens right around $20,000. Now, before you dismiss that number as too small or too unrealistic, let me be clear. $20,000 does not make you rich. It does not make you wealthy. It does not mean you've made it. But what it does do is far more important. It changes how the entire financial system treats you. It changes how your brain makes decisions, and it changes the trajectory of your future. This video is about why $20,000 is the first real financial threshold, the line between surviving and building, between reacting to life and designing it. And once you understand why this number matters, you'll never look at money the same way again.
In the United States, we're taught two very different stories about money. One story says wealth is about income. Get a better job, get a raise, hit six figures. Everything will be fine. The other story says wealth is about status, the car, the house, the lifestyle, the appearance of success. Both stories are wrong, because neither income nor lifestyle determines whether someone is financially secure. What actually determines financial security is buffer, the distance between you and financial disaster. Most Americans have almost no buffer. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. That means one flat tire, one medical bill, one missed paycheck can trigger a crisis. When you live like that, your life is not yours. It belongs to your bills. And that's where $20,000 enters the picture.
Let's be precise. $2,000 helps. $5,000 helps more, but neither fundamentally changes your behavior. Why? Because those amounts protect you from small problems, not systemic risk. They don't protect you from job loss, medical leave, family emergencies, relocation, career transitions. $20,000 does. For most American households, $20,000 represents 3 to 6 months of living expenses. That's not luxury. That's oxygen. It's the difference between I have to take this job and is this the right move for me? That's the real threshold. When people struggle financially, it's not because they're irresponsible or lazy. It's because their brains are trapped in survival mode. Scarcity hijacks decision-making. When money is tight, you prioritize speed over quality, certainty over opportunity, short-term relief over long-term growth. That's not a character flaw. It's neuroscience. Studies show that financial stress reduces cognitive bandwidth in the same way sleep deprivation does. In other words, poverty makes you worse at solving problems, including money problems. You're not failing. You're overloaded. But here's what changes when you build a real buffer. Once you hit that threshold, 3 things happen almost immediately. 1, your brain slows down. You stop making panic decisions. You stop reacting. You start evaluating. 2, your time horizon expands. You stop thinking in weeks. You start thinking in years. 3, your risk profile improves. You can take calculated risks instead of avoiding all risk. This is why people with savings make better financial decisions, even when their income is identical. They're not smarter, they're calmer. Now let's talk math, because this is where momentum shows up. Compound interest is often explained badly. People say things like, start early, let time do the work. But they don't explain when it actually becomes noticeable. Here's the truth.
Compound interest is boring at small numbers. A 10% return on $1,000 is $100. A 10% return on $2,000 is $200. Helpful, but not life-changing. At $20,000, a 10% return is $2,000. Now your money is making rent payments, car repairs, insurance premiums without your labor. That's the psychological breakthrough. Your money stops feeling symbolic. It starts feeling functional.
If you save $1,000 per month and invest at an average 8% return, your first $20,000 takes about 18 to 20 months. That period feels slow, discouraging, invisible. Most people quit here. But your second $20,000 takes less time. Why? Because now you have monthly contributions, investment returns, working together. By your third $20,000, the acceleration becomes obvious. Eventually, your investments begin doing more work than you do. That's the curve no one shows you.
A common myth is that wealthy people have access to special tools. They don't, at least not at this level. The same index funds, the same brokerages, the same tax-advantaged accounts. The difference is scale. Returns that feel meaningless at $2,000 feel powerful at $20,000. Same strategy, different outcome. Saving $20,000 does something deeper. It changes who you believe you are. You prove that you can. Delay gratification, stick to a plan, say no consistently, prioritize long-term outcomes. That identity is permanent. Once you believe you're capable of building assets, every future financial decision becomes easier. This is why people who hit this milestone rarely fall back to zero. This is where $20,000 becomes dangerous, in a good way. It gives you leverage. When you're paycheck to paycheck, you tolerate bad management. You accept underpayment. You avoid confrontation because you have no exit. $20,000 gives you one. You don't need to quit. You don't need to threaten. You just stop being desperate. And desperation is expensive. People sense it. Employers exploit it. Negotiations suffer. Confidence, real confidence, comes from options. And options come from savings. Here's the mistake. People hit $20,000 and immediately treat it as permission to spend. New car, luxury vacation, lifestyle upgrades. That money disappears, and the cycle restarts. $20,000 is not a reward. It's a foundation.
The average American spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on vehicles over their lifetime. Car payments, insurance, maintenance, depreciation. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. That's not convenience. That's wealth destruction. The irony? The person driving the expensive car is often stressed. The person driving the paid-off Honda is free. Once you hit $20,000, you stop asking, "Can I afford the payment?" You start asking, "What does this cost my future?" That shift alone saves people hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. $20,000 doesn't buy luxury. It buys time, flexibility, negotiation power, peace. It's the line where money stops controlling you. Not forever, but finally enough. If you're below this number, don't feel behind. Feel focused. This is the hardest part. And once you cross it, the rules change. Build the foundation first. Everything else becomes easier.